what started to come on was a kind of a depression, a sense of defeat, a sense of worthlessness and hopelessness, helplessness, aimlessness, all of these kind of things. And I couldn't seem to figure it out. What is holding me back? What's keeping me back? Nothing was happening with my business, nothing at all. And I was able to break through that wall of fear and begin to make those contacts with people. It's happening. It is really happening well, in fact.
All right, Zack here, and in this video, I want to introduce you to Joseph Ramirez. He is a marriage and family therapist who, before he sought out my training program, he was basically stuck in these conditioned ways of being that were a consequence of unresolved trauma and unconscious limiting beliefs. So I believe that, by the way, this is very common amongst entrepreneurs, online coaches, and consultants. People in general, right? They'll just hold themselves back completely unconsciously simply because they haven't resolved the negative, untrue beliefs that they've learned from their past, and they recreate the past now and never find a way to kind of break free from this unconscious cycle. So throughout the course of my training program, Joe has completely resolved these unconscious ways of being that were preventing his progress in his coaching business. Joe's changed his life, he's changed his family's lives, he's changing the lives of his coaching clients. I'm incredibly proud of what Joe has accomplished. So let's go and watch the interview and conversation that Joe and I had about his experience inside the program. Joe, welcome to the interview today.
Thank you, Zach. Glad to be here.
Nice. So before we get started, share with us like what you do. You're a coach as well, and what you do. Tell us a bit about yourself and where you're based as well.
Okay. I am a men's marriage coach. I'm based here in Georgia, USA, Kennesaw, Georgia, a suburb of Atlanta. And I am trying to just find as many guys as I can help who are struggling in their marriages, having a difficult time, or who have undergone the effects of separation and or divorce, and just trying to work with them to build their lives back up and get back on track and become the best version of themselves.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
This is would you say this is your calling in life?
Oh yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Cool. So can you tell us like what were you going through before we started coaching together, and what you were challenged with? What ultimately led you to going, okay, I'd like to reach out and find a solution to this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For many years I was homeschooling my kids, and I have experience and training in education and in counseling. So economic factors and a number of other things just kind of led to sort of a role reversal with my wife. She went to work out in the world and I stayed home to homeschool the kids. It just seemed like a natural kind of thing based on our experience and so on with my training. Was doing okay, doing pretty well with the kids and helping them and teaching them and guiding them. But as time went on, they needed me less and less. And I started to feel like, wow, what do I do now? And so a kind of a feeling of like aimlessness and even a hopelessness and a kind of, I call it a dwindling away. Like here I am, a very educated man, a very experienced man. I've done a lot of different things. What now? I'm just not sure. So what started to come on was a kind of a depression, a sense of defeat, a sense of worthlessness and hopelessness, helplessness, aimlessness, all of these kind of things. And I couldn't seem to figure it out. What is holding me back? What's keeping me back? That eventually led me to seek help and led me to you.
As far as like business was going, Like when we started together, you had the vision for what you wanted to create in your life in terms of your coaching business. Where were things at that time with regards to your coaching, your progress, your like getting the business off the ground? Like what were you struggling with regarding that?
Okay.
Yeah.
About, well, it's been a little over a year now. It would have been March of 2020. I got into a mentoring program that would help me learn how to have an online coaching business. And I thought, oh, this is perfect. This would be what I want to do. This is awesome. And I found early on, as I was getting into the training, that I had a real problem with fear. I knew I've had a problem with fear all my life anyway, just scared of lots of different things. And I've overcome them for the most part, but this was a real struggle. And it had to do with the whole matter of, reaching out and making contact with people in order to promote a business online. There was a block there. There was a real obstacle. So what happened was I went through the training and went through the modules and so forth and learned what needed to be done, but was stuck in actually taking the steps to bust through that barrier to which involved reaching out to and connecting with people. Months went by, the summer went by, into the fall. Nothing was happening with my business, nothing at all. And then, you became part of that whole training and everything. And knowing that you have a counseling background as I do, I thought, well, let's see if I reach out to you and maybe somebody who's down here that could help me remove those blocks, those success barriers. And as it turned out, you're up in Canada and I'm way down here in Georgia. You didn't know really anyone down here, but so I took up the whole question with you and said, well, what would it take for you to coach me to overcome these difficulties? We talked about it. We worked it out and got into it. And that would have been January, February, and March of this year. And, it was right about mid-March and moving into the end of March where I saw things begin to change. And I was able to break through that wall of fear and begin to make those contacts with people out there online and move the business forward. And it's happening. It is really happening well, in fact.
Yeah, it is happening very well.
Yeah.
Joe, yeah, I remember when at the beginning stages of us working together and how the ways in which you were holding yourself back, how you were getting in your own way. Now, having resolved those blocks, you're doing all of the things that you weren't doing before that would have moved you forward. It's as if you're just experiencing that kind of flow because you're not preventing yourself from moving forward. So you talked a bit about fear. I had this wall of fear and this was getting in your way. Can you maybe specify or give some examples as to the common ways in which the fear would show up for you? Because, for example, a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs deal with procrastination, distraction, fear of failure. There's a lot of fear of success. There's a lot of unworthiness, self-doubt, and like, I'm not good enough. And so because I believe I'm not good enough, this then prevents one from kind of really taking any action. So what would you say in your experience, in your memory, what was it for you that really stood out as your biggest barriers there? Like behaviors and so on.
Right. I would say that the fears I experienced had to do with previous failures in my life, and there have been many. Job losses, relationship losses, and other things, where it was so much of a part of my past that here I am presented with the possibility of moving forward into a business, what's going to happen if I'm just setting myself up for the big whammy all over again? I don't know. And like stepping into another person's sphere and reaching out to them and connecting was that kind of portal to a possible success that could lead to a big failure. Do you see what I'm saying? It was like, man, why go forward? Why do it? I mean, all I've ever done was fail. What's to say it's not going to happen again? It was kind of like that sort of thinking. But I knew it was whack. I knew that it was just it shouldn't be there. That history doesn't have to repeat itself. So I just had to find out, how am I going to get to that, to those obstacles, those things that in which I'm standing in my own way, and then remove them. That was a big one. That fear of failure, but also the fear of success that would build me up and set me up for another big boom, a big fall, a big crash, a big failure kind of thing. So it was that in a nutshell. There were other kind of fears and whatever, but that seemed to be the gate, the door. And once I got through that, now it's just starting to roll. It's starting to, like that engine in a train just pulling out of the station. It's it's starting to chug. It's starting to happen. So it's feeling good.
Yeah, and you've monetized it now. So the rubber has met the road. You're doing well, and it's like a snowball effect. Now that you've gotten out of your own way, you're taking action every day in the ways that you need to, and now that action is actually producing real tangible results.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like the kind of dam has been broken, so to speak, and once you start with that, like you've built that momentum, and now I know that you can see what's coming because you're feeling it. You're already experiencing it. So now you're just going to continue to experience more of that success because you've changed behaviorally.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. And this all starts with those beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen major changes in both of those things. Speaking about the role, getting on the roll and the movement forward and everything. I just have found that like a big part of my business is setting up consultation calls, and that's exactly what I'm talking about here. This stepping through into the world of reaching out and connecting and just promoting the business. Well, I've just in a short space of time, as an example, here recently, I've got I've got a call tomorrow and 2 that I just set up in the last couple of days for Monday, and it's just starting to click. It's starting to flow. That's cool, very cool.
That's very cool indeed.
Yeah. So I'm happy about that.
For sure. And it changes the lives of your family as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're my cheerleaders. They want to know about like what happened with that and what happened with this other thing and what happened with that call, and and they were very excited about things that have happened. So yeah,
Amazing.
That's nice. Yeah.
Amazing. Throughout the course of the coaching program, were there any surprises, any unexpected things that came up? You go, oh, I wasn't expecting to experience this, or anything kind of unexpected?
Unexpected. Well, the whole thing was kind of unexpected, but I guess that the biggest thing that I found of real practical help that I could do on a daily basis when confronted with the tendency, the invitation to slip into a negative mindset is the tapping exercise that you taught me that has to do with, okay, I'm going to let go of sadness. I'm going to let go of fears. I'm going to let go of all these different negative emotions. And what it meant for me was a practical way to say, stop to the negative, to let it go, and then with purpose, aim for and move into the positive. That it was something I could do. It was something I could achieve. It could happen. And it wasn't hard, very simple, and very effective.
Yeah.
But it has to be worked at, because moment by moment, there's always that potential new invitation to slip back in to the negative. Well, let's go to the wrong way. Let's get into, fear, anger, doubt, defeat, blah, blah, blah. No, I can choose. A big thing for me in my past was I learned plenty about what to think. I never learned how to think. It's a real important distinction for me. And I think you really helped me learn how to think and how to put emotions into correct order with thinking, so that emotions, less and less with practice and time, don't dictate thinking. That was a big problem with me. Negative emotions dictating and telling me what to start believing. This is, I'm sad about something, so whatever this is that I'm doing is terrible, or I'm afraid of that thing, it's going to go wrong, or see how the feeling kind of starts to dictate the thinking. And so I was able to reverse that pattern.
Beautiful.
It's coming. It's not perfect, but it's coming.
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh yeah. Well, you see proof of that in the way that your life has changed, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
If you were to, let's say you were to speak to the previous version of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
before you started the program, when you were in the midst of the pits of despair, so to speak, experiencing all this stuff, if I may put it like that, how would you speak, or what words of advice, what would you say to that version of you now when you're considering joining this program and resolving these issues? What would you say to that version of you?
Don't wait. Just don't put it off. Take action. Get busy. There is a solution. And I had to, work it out. I had to take steps. I had to look for it. And I thought, well, it was in a kind of a traditional talk therapy kind of mode. Somebody down here, around here, that I could go to once a week and talk to, whatever. But no, it was something different, and really kind of a beautiful mix of the help I needed personally with the help I needed professionally. So it was great that way. But no, I would just say, and I can picture myself, and I mean, I sat right here in this room and looked out that window wondering, what am I all about? What's going to happen now? I'm not old. I'm not as young as I was, but I'm not old. I've got life. I've got potential. I would look at that person and just say, do it. Don't wait. Take action. It will get better. It can get better, and there's way more still in store for you. But you gotta take action. I would say that.
Yeah, perfect. How would you describe the old version or the previous version of you versus how would you describe yourself now? How would you have described yourself then, and how would you do that now?
I would describe myself as dead. Well, I want to say dead and alive. It was like dead, alive, but I wasn't really dead because I knew that I needed to um, I needed to deal with some things that there were things in me that were holding me back. But no, it was diminishing, receding, dying. That previous person, this new one is growing, changing, increasing, improving, living, something like that.
Amazing, amazing, man. Well, Joe, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time out today to have this conversation. I know you're
Gladly.
inspiring so many people who are in the same place, where you were.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much again.
You are welcome anytime.